Yes. Since you raised the subject, why don't you? It would be awesome if you would supply the imperfect. Yep, it's pataram. I don't know if you guys have a feeling for the difference between the perfect and the imperfect yet. Yeah, the imperfect, which should be pataram over there, would be used for an action in the past that was continued over time or was repeated. Okay. So um, when I was young, which was a long span of time in the past, I was able to ride a unicycle. Okay. No, I just made it up. Sorry. Okay. All right. When I climbed the top of the hill, I was able to see the city below. In that situation, patui might be the best form to choose to talk about something that happened once and from the narrator's point of view is finished. Okay, so I was able to see the promised land and then I died, like Moses. Okay. All right, number two, there's going to be more than one possible answer here. And let's go with, oh, Mars isn't here. So, Kai. Pateratus, very nice. I'm going to go ahead and write it over here in the imperfect category, which is A-OK. All right. And if we put it in the perfect tense, Jacobe. Yep. Let me encourage you to shorten out that I sound a little bit. Patuistus. Okay. So, which of these would apply in this situation? Back in Mrs. J's room, you could get away with pronouncing short I's as E. Probably pateratus. That's something that went on for a while. Okay. All right. Questions? All right, number three. This is where the magical popsicle sticks of justice. Angela. I'm with you that far. Patu to make it perfect or future perfect. Patueris, excellent. Okay. All right, good. I'm not going to try to use that one in a sentence because I'm just lazy that way, but patueris is well formed. Nikias. Number four, she will be able. No, we need the future tense. Almost, minus the U, because the U is going to throw it into the future perfect. Just pateret. Okay. All right. Yes. We'll figure it out shortly. I'll let you know shortly. It's a good question. I'm going to try to make tomorrow's little quiz short and sweet, and I'll tell you the format of it when we finish the workbook activities. All right, number five, he had been able. Kaisar. Patuarat. Excuse me, patuarat is correct. was able. Luki? Okay, if we follow the perfect tense translation, patuit is correct. And that's a-okay. Excuse me. To think of it as perfect tense, he was able to juggle the chainsaws, flaming sea lions, and angry Latin teachers just once in his life, and then it was done. So patuit. On the other hand, we could think of it as a repeated past action. Paterat. All right, they can. Tiberi. Good. We could. Balbe.
Would you say instead of
Posthumous works if we're saying we put or we placed. Is not to cause confuzzlement or confusion, but the verb you're using with posthumous is pono, ponere, posui, positos.
okay, so would like
Pateramos would work in the imperfect version of this phrase. It worked very nicely to say we could over the past and long-term action. All right, good. In the perfect tense, Augusta, it would be patuamos, right? So the stem of possum, pasa, in the third principal part has a T in it, patui. Okay, don't make it sound like you're spitting patui. That wasn't funny again. Sempronia, I am able. Possum. Oops. Oops. Apparently I am not able to write today. And they have been able. No more sticks in the bag, so Katharina, repeat please. Yes, nicely said. Patu a runt. And what is worth quickly noting is that the helping verb have been, or have, excuse me, is used for the perfect tense. It's perfect tense exclusively, referring to something viewed as finished. So they have been able up to a point. So patuerunt is correct. Yes. Okay. All right. Turn your eyeballs to page number, whatever it is in the workbook. Sorry, 155. I'll give you guys a little bit of prep time on this, and then we'll go over it shortly. If you read the instructions, it indicates that you will, in effect, although in a slightly different order than you're used to, be creating a synopsis of the two irregular verbs, som and possum. Okay, number one. Let's go with the form of I am. Oxman? Yes. To everyone's great relief, it's som. Okay. And with that, I can. Ignacy? Possum. I don't disagree with you. 2. Guy? I think I'm going to disagree with you on that. And this is one of those points that English makes kind of debatable, but I have been is looking at a definite end time. You know, up to this point, I have been. So rather than the imperfect tense, we'll come back to you, sure. Flaminia? Fui is correct. So again, the tenses that we're going to go through are not in the order we're used to. Normally it's present, imperfect, future, perfect, pluperfect, future perfect. But along the way, we'll be creating a jumbled synopsis of sum and possum in the 6 tenses. Augusta? PO or PA? Patui, yeah. All right, good. Guy, back to you. Arrow, I agree. For the first blank on number 3. Sempronia? Ataro, good. Luki? Repeat for me, please. Aram, indeed. And, sure, Ankala. Pataram. Number 5, didn't send the page, make it a little higher up there to view. Jacobe? Fueram is correct. Athena? Patuaram is correct. And number 6. Seems like we're aiming for the, well, Kaiser? Fuero for the future perfect tense. Okay. And then, Rosa? Say it for me one more time. I'm going to separate it. I need it to be a little bit different from patero up here. So otherwise it'll be the simple future. I will be able. Yeah, patuero. Good. And that forms it in the future perfect. Okay. All right. Questions in there? Okay. Let me go ahead and quickly describe the test for you guys tomorrow. It's going to be the vocab from lesson 42. Quiz is more like it. And then I'm not going to throw at you conjugation of a irregular verb like som or possum or its neighbors, but rather just translation of 6 to, well, what did I say? 5 to 7 sentences from Latin to English. Forms of those verbs may well be in there to translate, but you won't have to create a whole bunch of them. Any questions about that? All right, I'm going to suggest that we spend, well, we have 2 options for the rest of the day. Option number 1, we can dive headfirst into lesson 43, which I'm really looking forward to doing. Okay. The other option is to get a little bit of practice with forms of som and possum and its cousins. Well, kind of sort of translating, yes. Not in full sentences, but via Jeopardy. Anyone have an interest in anyone know what that is? It's a possum, yeah. We should name the last one what? Well, think putting that in with a mixed prefixes like intersum, desum, prisum, and so on. I have no idea what the last category is going to be. But what I was going to do was have you guys work on translation from Latin to English. Just of these verb forms, not a whole lot beyond that. And does that seem like a good way to prepare for tomorrow's test, or should we, throw in a forum romanum and no. Okay. All right. So, are you going to get us started, please, Owen? Little furry animal for 50. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So, I'm not going to be able to write on the board and see whose hand came up first. So, I'm going to say the form accurately, and then I want you to translate it. Okay. Raise your hand when you're able to translate it, and I'll call on you. If there's room for clarification or need for clarification, I'll write it on the board. Sound good? Okay. Pasa. Ooh, I think I had the fast hand. To be able is correct. That was pasa, the infinitive, to be able. Okay, so 50 points. Athena, points in category? Question mark for 30. What? Jeopardy, not bingo. Okay. Tell you what, Jake, I can see you now. You're going to be going to the bowling alley and running down to catch the ball with a tennis racket to try to hit it back. I mean, it's not how you play the game. Okay. All right. So question mark for 30. Here we go. I want you to translate that as a noun. Yes. You're answering in the form of a question, which in Jeopardy is the customary thing. Seen is technically an adjective or a past participle. One of the challenges of this lesson, vocab-wise, was to work on translating participles as substantives. So do you have a second option? Well, let's go ahead and throw it to Joy. I think she had the fast hand after that. No, that's two words. I just want a one-word translation. Yes? No. Tiberi? Yes. Okay, something seen is a translation of this participle as a neuter substantive. In English, something seen doesn't quite amount to a substantive, doesn't quite amount to a noun. But Guy? No,
Something that
you're making it grow longer. Okay. All right. So here you go. Your Aunt Betty comes to visit. Okay. She's just on her drive to visit you, stopped at the country buffet and spent 3 hours grazing. Okay. She greets you, gives you a big hug. Her breath is a little funny. Says, "Oh, excuse me," and runs to the restroom. Okay. Forgets to close the door. You walk past the hallway. That is a terrible sight.
oh, see, I see.
Something that has been seen is a sight. Okay, that was terrible.
That was funny.
Well, wait till you get to the 50-point version on the question mark. Okay, so that was a total bomb on WeSum. No points there. That's okay. Um, who called that one? Go ahead, choose another. Sum for 30. Okay. All right. Sure, why not? Oh, that's too simple. Oh, that's not too simple. Fuéramos. Fuéramos, Athena. Oh, not quite. Sempronia had the fast hand on that side. We had been is correct. Okay. I was distracting you by that whole seeing thing. She's still fixated on that whole side of Aunt Betty. Ah! Okay. Points in category?
Um, mixed
Mixed prefixes for 20. Okay. All right, good. All right. If I run screaming from the room, okay, try S, Balba. If I run screaming from the room, try S, Balba. Got you? Not quite. Katharina? You are in charge is correct. Okay. So pry som, pry essa means be in charge. Pry s would be you are in charge. Okay, good. Points in category? Okay. All right. Now, do you guys remember my happy little pictures? About how the B looks away from the A and the D looks toward the A. Okay. No, no. Um, yeah, never mind. I won't tell you what I sound like when I was a teenager. I grew up in Southern California, so every word was for sure and dude. So here we go. Ah, fu eram. Ah, fu eram. Baba?
Okay. I have been absent.
That was almost it. Ah, fu eram, though, is a little bit different. I think, Katharina, you had the second fast hand. I had been absent is correct. Okay, good. Points in category? Which one for 40? Oh, okay.
19.
I don't really want to do that. Okay. Okay, right. Why not? It's a little too simple, but okay. It's not really worth 40 points, but we can pretend. Ad estis. Okay, Athena. You are present is correct. Ooh, we're on the way to a something like a bingo. Okay. Points in category.
Call that. Oh, don't call it. Don't get it. Questionable.
Go question mark for 20.
Some.
Okay. All right. Some for 40. Okay. Let's try this on for size. Fueritis. Jacobe. That is correct. Okay. Well. All right. Okay. All right, Owen, are you ready? Datum. Yes, please. Mm-hmm. Well, all his future girlfriends, be aware of that. Present, something given. Sure, yeah. Okay, now very quickly, how is datum normally used outside of the idea of Kris Kringle or your Aunt Betty showing up with a gift? Sure. Yeah, and think about it in terms of your science classes. What is a datum? And building on what Joy has said, it's something given as the result of a scientific process. Okay, something given as a result when you perform a lab. What's the plural of datum? In English, it's commonly pronounced data. In Latin, it's more pronounced data. And one of the funny things about this word is that in English, it is still proper to treat this word as plural. The data show that Charles is a Homo sapiens as a result of the DNA test. Okay. The data, plural, show that JB is a chick magnet. Okay. They don't let him anywhere near poultry farms because it's just he's so magnetic it just rips the feathers right off the chicks. Sorry. Okay. That's terrible. So, with apologies, Owen, what's next?
So on this day, its prefix is 40.
Okay. This is going to be tough. Mixed prefixes for 40. He has been useful for, or he has benefited. Maxima? It isn't quite. It wouldn't be the inter prefix because that's to be among or to take part in. So, yeah, almost, but that's too far back in the past. That would be he had been of benefit or he had been of use. No, not quite. That's imperfect. Suggesting something that went on for a long time. But as I think about Mr. Elliott leaving the school, pardon me, I'm going to say he has been a benefit. He has been of benefit prior to his departure. Tiberi, what did you have? Profuit. Yeah, that would work. Okay. Questions in here? Should we keep going? Okay. All right. So, Peter. Okay. I'm going to flip this around a little bit. I'm going to, just to mix it up a little bit, go from from English to Latin. Okay. So, I am eager to be present for tomorrow's test. I am eager to be present. I think, Flaminia, you had the fast hand, although Joey's going to dispute it. Sorry, it isn't quite abessa. I think it was Charles, honestly. It's Odessa, right? To be present was Odessa. Okay. Charles?
I'll do possum for 10.
Okay. So, possum for 10. Again, mixing it up, not the format I was using before. I'm just going to ask you, what is the third principal part of possum? Oh, Joey, that was fast. Patui is correct. Okay. Points in category? Ooh, boy. Okay. All right.
Oh, this is the hard
I think anytime you say that word, it's pretty questionable there, Charles. Okay. Okay. I'm going to encourage you guys to view this as needing translation by more than one word. More than one English word might be needed here. Male, as in, okay, as opposed to a female man, not that kind of mailman. No, not quite. Joey. Use that in a sentence.
The things I sent to Charles without being rude.
Not quite. Yes? No, not quite. Okay, Maxima? I'll accept that. Okay. The or more commonly, because it's masculine and plural, as Jake was trying hard to contain it within himself, It's masculine and plural, so maybe the men sent. Okay. So, for example, the Cyclops devoured those, or the men sent by Ulysses. Okay. That would be the PQ Issos. Okay. Okay. So, good. I'm going to go ahead and stop because my voice is about fried, and so is my brain. Um, a small amount of translation. Do well on the vocab for lesson 42, and please view this as being a 10-minute quiz so that maybe you're done in 20 minutes. Okay? Yes.
10 sentences at 5 minutes each. 35 minutes.
Quiet, please, people.